Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the channel. All right. I just want to cut right to the chase here. But before I do that, I literally just want to give the pre-guide to the video, okay? This video is going to be almost exclusively talking about Wyckoff, Wyckoff theory, accumulation, distribution, etc., etc. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the strategy and what you need to understand about Wyckoff. If you're not familiar with it, it's generally just the idea is it's a study of how institutions create a market for retail traders to exist in, and based on that market, create an environment that will exhaust retail traders while they are accumulating or distributing for profit, right? So they're picking up the asset at the bottom and selling it at the top for profit. Distribution is the sell-off. Accumulation is the load up, right? So I've been talking about this theory a lot on the channel lately, and I know that it's not really my original stomping grounds going into this thing. I did mess around with it some in Bitcoin in May and June is when I really got introduced to the schematics and the theory. And in the past few weeks, I've really started to pick up on the patterns like really fast on almost every time frame when it comes to AMC. And I've had two major theories, and I want to talk about those on a macro scale. So the first major theory that I had is this LPS theory. And what this would be referring to is that we are in this sort of accumulation schematic where phase C can be a little hard to detect because it doesn't have this really big sell-off. See in the accumulation schematic 1, you have this spring and test where you go below your trading range. And I see this as the existing trading range. And I think under this schematic, we would actually be in phase C. See how we hold higher in the trading range throughout phase B, and then we kind of hold high into phase C, and then you would have this phase D where you move up into a sign of strength, probably up into this $50 to $60 range, and then you show your strength there. The other theory that I had is the spring theory, and this would be the schematic 1 that you see here on the right. And this one would still require that we have a big sell-off, and that this big sell-off back here on August 4th when we went down to $29, $28 was actually the sell test in phase B. See how we go up to the top of the trading range in phase B. We come back down, we get close to the bottom of the trading range, and then we kind of go sideways, just like you do in the schematic here. Then you're going to have a big sell-off, come back up, test the trading range one more time, and then you're going to have your move up into phase D. Look, I know that I know a few people are going to get turned off by this video in the AMC community, at least. The major ones that are going to get turned off are the technicals don't work on AMC. And my answer to that would be, this isn't even technical. This actually plays into your hand, and I think it's important for you to try and understand these theories, because most people who say that are saying that it's a manipulated stock. And this is me being, as a technical analyst guy, giving you a way to try and understand the technical side of that manipulation, because I agree that the stock is heavily manipulated. I've felt that way for a long time. I've never doubted that, right? But we just have to understand what's going on, and if we can understand the price action and have predictability and understanding of it, then it's going to help us moving forward, right? So let's get back into the schematic. So, and I know this is going to like make people mad, you know, because you don't want to see anybody draw down lines or whatever. But look, I'm just being realistic, and I've been paying attention to this stuff and studying this stuff really hard, and I just want to share it because I think it's important that some people know. And if this isn't for you, it's fine. You don't have to watch the video till the end or whatever. You don't have to watch this at all. So the reason, and the reason that this video I think is so important to watch is because I think that something that we've been overlooking is this region of the chart here, that when we moved up, right? And what I was calling this at the time was a rising wedge. Well, I don't want to draw it. Where we moved up here, and then we topped out at this $52, $53 range, and then we sold off. I haven't seen any YouTubers yet, personally, that have covered this, but I think that it's possible that what we have here, but with these larger theories, right, these larger accumulation schematics, I think that we also had a smaller accumulation occur here, right? Let's zoom in here. I'll show you an accumulation schematic again. We had a smaller accumulation occur here, and then we had distribution. Okay? So distribution, again, in the Wyckoff price cycle, you have accumulation, and then you get into overbought territory, and then you have distribution. This is when institutions are selling off for profit. Let me show you a schematic. These are just examples, by the way. So it doesn't have to go exactly like this, but you're going to see, you know, within this chart the similarities. And I have some words in here as well that are tied to, for example, sign of strength from the previous, right? So you have your accumulation, you have your sign of strength up here at the top. This is actually playing into the buying climax of this distribution schematic, potential distribution schematic, I should say. And I just think it's really interesting that, and it helps give us more context and the ability to understand more. You have your sign of weakness down here, right? Where basically this is saying at prices like this, you break below the initial trading range that was set by the automatic reaction. Down here, this strict move down. Okay, this is a sign of weakness. We broke below that automatic reaction. So this actually, instead of it being a sign of strength, has turned now into a sign of weakness because we weren't able to hold this initial trading range. We come back up here. Well, I have sell test here, but you could also put it here. And these things can be a little murky, but again, it's just the idea of these trading ranges. That's what's really important about these schematics. And then seeing that resistance and support at these different within this range. But you can see here that you have a clear upward thrust. You come back down into the trading range, and then your UTAD, which is the upward thrust after distribution. So distribution is already occurring here, and then you have one final upward thrust. This is kind of like your last stand. This is when institutions came in. They caused a real big buy block here, sent us above the trade range, got everybody really excited right before they sell off, and then they cause this last point of supply. So this is basically like the final sell-off for institutions. And this goes straight into where we are now, right? So now we have another accumulation, and I have this region down here at the bottom, but going into the accumulation schematic again on a shorter time frame. Now remember, this is all in the grand context of this larger accumulation, I believe, is happening. But you have your sell climax come down here after your distribution schematic, and let me take the distribution off so it's a little bit easier to see now. You have your sell climax, right? And we can pull this a little bit tighter here. Then you have your automatic reaction. So what I would assume, based on if this is an accumulation schematic that's playing out here, what I would assume is that this now becomes a trading range. And look, I'm not trying to make this video to freak anybody out or anything. This is strictly about, like, we just need to be prepared for anything, and I just think it's so important. And I know it's like yesterday, Alfred on live stream, Jen Collado, if you guys aren't familiar with his channel, he actually talks about Wyckoff a little bit in his channel too. And he said, this downward arrow is going to get a lot of, a thumbs down or whatever. And for me, it's not, I don't care about the thumbs up or the thumbs down. I think that it's important that we actually are trying to be realistic. We're all in this together, and we're trying to understand what is happening within the price action. Right. So I'm not really concerned with whether the video is going to be popular or not. And I'm not here to predict anything either. What I'm doing is I'm analyzing the price action that I see. I'm using tools that clearly work, right? These schematics were made in like the early 1900s, like the 1920s, 1910s. And to me, to me, this schematic is clearly valid. I mean, it's clear as day. This is an undeniable Wyckoff accumulation schematic, and as well, to me, this is just a crazy video for me to be making. But it's also, this is clear distribution. This clearly matches up with this schematic. So this is clear, and a clear indication to me that what I think is going on here, and I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow is like going into the next week or so. For me, it's going to give me a lot more clarity as to what can possibly be happening within this stock and where we actually are. And look, when you look at the rules for the accumulation schematic, I read this earlier. It even says, as noted in accumulation schematic 2, the testing of supply can occur higher up in the trading range without a spring or shakeout. When this occurs, the identification of phase C can be challenging, and that resonates with me so specifically here, because it's just hard to identify whether we're in phase C or if we're approaching phase C. So I know that a lot of people were excited today with this move up to 37.90, and I'm not here to try and ground people and make people not feel excited about AMC. I'm personally long on the stock, and I'm not changing my position or anything based on anything in this video, but I just think that it's important that we cover everything. And when I noticed this, right, when I noticed that it's possible that, I think it's actually more likely, it's probable that this was distribution. It's probable that this was accumulation, and in my opinion, it's probable that we're accumulating again here. I just feel that it's important that, as someone in the community that has a community that he talks to every day and shares his take with everybody, that I'm being transparent and honest. So I just wanted to make sure that I did that. Because I think more than anything, it's important that we're prepared for everything as a community. And if I just come here every day and just say, hey, it's no matter what, the moon tomorrow, I think that I'm doing you a disservice at the end of the day. So outside of that, we did break below my channeled trading range. The bottom of it, this trend line, as I had it drawn, was broken below, which, isn't like the end of the world, but it is, it's, possibly there's another channel that we need to be drawing, or, perhaps the trend line could look something like this. These trend lines, it can be a little hard to try and figure out, but you can clearly see here that this would be a valid trend line from a technical perspective if we were to come back down here and test here. I'm not saying that there's going to be a downside tomorrow. As a matter of fact, the theory that I feel is represented best in the accumulation schematic is this LPS theory, which actually in this scenario has us, to me, seeing upside sooner than later. This is what I feel is the most accurate so far, longer term accumulation. But I just think it's really interesting, to share all of these different ideas and really look at charts from a different perspective than I normally do. And yeah, I mean, to me, it's undeniable though that you have accumulation here. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the Wyckoff thing. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. This is obviously for me, I've been sitting here for like over an hour, like trying to prepare for this video, like creating all these different schematics. So we can run through it one more time. This is the last point of support theory. So basically that we are actually at the end of phase C, or at least coming near the end. I mean, this can be moved to the side, and this obviously can too. Or we're going into phase C in this spring theory, which would match up with this accumulation schematic on the longer term. And here is the shorter term accumulation schematic that I think might be playing out. So just so that you know what I'm saying, we have the cell test in phase B here as well. Take the background off. Cell test in phase B, as you see here at the beginning of phase B. And then, yeah, like I said, I mean, here in the short term, like within the next week or so, we should see upside or downside, and that's gonna help give more context, and that's part of the game. That's part of what we do here. And also, there's who's to say that this wouldn't be this up thrust here in phase B, and then we see further downside, and then we come back up or whatever. So you really gotta be prepared for anything, right? And then this. Oh yeah. This is the first accumulation schematic, I believe, right? Where you had the spring test, last point of support, boom, and then you had your sign of strength up here, and then that transitioned into the distribution schematic here. Which is this schematic that you see on the screen here. Let me try and make it. I gotta make it a smaller time frame so it's easier to see. Sorry if you guys can hear the kids in the background there. Got a little bit of something going on back there. But yeah, so this is that that distribution schematic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is that potential trend line again. And obviously this isn't perfect, but you get the idea. I can take this off the screen now. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Other than that, I do have my TradingView link in the description down below. If you want to use the same tools that I use, you can use that link. It is an affiliate link, so if you do choose a premium plan with them, then I get a commission for it. If you don't, I would still sign up, and you can use the link or whatever. If you ever upgrade in the future, I'm sure that I would get a commission or something, so I appreciate that. But if not, I would at least get an account, just because it's pretty cool, because you can save your charts from your mobile to your desktop, and then you can take them with you. Save as you go along. Keep track of the charts on the go. And then my Twitter and my Discord links are down below. I have a free Discord community you can join. My Twitter, you can follow me there and kind of keep up with me throughout the day, what I'm posting about, what I'm tweeting. And other than that, that's pretty much it. So I appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. That watch time is a key metric for them. And if you haven't already, make sure you like the video and comment your thoughts down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what schematic you think that we're in. And I'm also going to link this PDF that I have here. It's from wyckoffanalytics.com. And it just kind of walks you through all the different phases of Wyckoff and tells you more about the theory. So if you want to learn more about that, it'll be there down below. I do plan on making like a video where I kind of step-by-step walk through this, or maybe a series of videos in the future. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss that whenever it does come out. So without any further ado, or that's what you say at the beginning of the video, without any more babbling on like I've been doing for the past like 5 minutes, I feel like, have a good rest of your day. Please. Boy, look at this chart, boy. That's a lot of stuff going on there. Woo. Man. Look at all them lines, boy. Would you just look at that? All right. Y'all have a good one.